Wait a second. Wait. The Tate Brothers were freed from Romania? I did not know about this. This is a video from the New York Times.
In February, after confinement in Romania, Andrew and Tristan Tate posted a video to their followers.
We're massively back. Massively.
They were in a private plane being whisked to Florida.
Okay, I knew this happened, but I didn't. They had to go back to Romania, right?
Since 2022, they had been under criminal investigation in Romania. They had both been accused of trafficking dozens of women into a porn business that they ran. Andrew had also been accused of raping one of those women and of having sex with a 15-year-old. Prosecutors in Romania had prohibited them from leaving the country.
Feel that? It's the feeling of leaving Romanian soil.
This moment is the culmination of years of efforts by the Tates to cozy up to conservative influencers, members of the Trump family, and administration officials.
Weren't people trying to cozy up to them, trying to use their influence over young Americans to their advantage?
My name's Megan Toohey. I'm an investigative reporter here at the New York Times. My colleague Isabella Quay and I have spent months interviewing dozens of people in Romania, the United States, and Britain. We have reviewed hours and hours of video clips, hundreds of pages of text messages and emails and court documents. And we're able to piece together how the American right helped the Tate brothers get out of Romania. Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan are major stars in the so-called manosphere.
Welcome to the party, gentlemen. He-man, woman, haters party. It's a man's party.
Andrew is a former professional kickboxer.
That's so cringe.
In the so-called manosphere.
One thing is like once you listen to enough of Andrew Tate, you get kind of numb to his rhetoric. But like, I haven't heard a word from Andrew Tate in several months, and just to hear it and be like, "Oh, it's the woman haters party," like, just like, brother, what's that, brother,
Brother Tristan are major stars in the so-called manosphere.
Welcome to the party, gentlemen. He-man, woman, haters party. It's a man's party.
Andrew is a former professional kickboxer who built a huge online following, preaching unapologetic masculinity and chauvinism.
All of history was built by men, always has been.
If a woman is going out with a man, she belongs to that man. That's his woman.
He's told his audience that they were victims of feminism, that they've been maligned by the economy. Audience that they were victims of feminism, that they've
so
been
he has a shirt that says #daddy on it. I don't know how masculine that is.
Maligned by the economy and brainwashed by the media.
You are now full slave mode, and that's all they want. So you will continue to work your job for money.
He and his brother have gained millions and millions of followers. They sell online courses to young men about how to make money and how to exploit women. That included this PhD program, short for Pimping Hose degree. They share what they say they've learned in pushing their girlfriends into making online sexual content for paying customers.
It's not just about picking up girls. It's about converting them into really loving you enough to moving in with you and working for you and giving you all the money.
The brothers, who have both American and British citizenship, started this porn business over a decade ago in Britain. In 2015, Andrew was arrested 3 times after multiple women accused him of assault. And while prosecutors eventually declined to bring charges, the investigation prompted Andrew to leave Britain.
Had I heard of Andrew Tate back then? Or was that before I had heard of him? 2015. I didn't know that he was popping off all the way back then. I heard about him kind of like in the towards like the latter half of my collegiate career, which would be from 2020 to 2022.
said that he thought that they'd be better served in Romania.
It's a little bit lawless, you know? You can get away with shit you can't get away with in the West.
Eventually, the brothers get banned from several of the biggest social media platforms, only to find new homes on Rumble, a site that was backed by J.D. Vance's venture capital firm, and Getter, a right-wing site. And then things really explode.
Now this I
In
remember.
December 2022, the brothers are arrested in Romania. They had been under criminal investigation for several months after a complaint that an American citizen had been held by them against her will. The brothers are charged with organizing a criminal group and trafficking 7 women into their porn business. And Andrew is also accused of raping one of those women. And later, prosecutors in Britain would bring charges of trafficking and rape against Andrew and Tristan. These additional charges that have been authorized will move forward once the Romanian case is complete. Through our reporting, we also found that the Tates have been quietly under investigation here in the United States by anti-trafficking agents and federal prosecutors.
Wait a second. Was this all like a ruse to try to like get them into the States and then perhaps apprehend them here or make them feel comfortable coming here so that at some point they could be brought back to the United States again and then be arrested?
Andrew and Tristan Tate deny all allegations. While all of this is happening, they're building more and more powerful allies in the United States. In 2017, as Andrew tells it, he did a tweet in support of Donald Trump, and soon Andrew and Don Jr. had connected at Trump Tower.
The president's son, he made me a coffee. Like, he's a cool dude.
And this support and this relationship continues through 2023. When Andrew and his brother are placed under house arrest, Don Jr. sends out a tweet of support. By that point, the Tates had hired Joseph McBride, this attorney who had come to prominence representing Trump supporters accused of insurrection on January 6th. And McBride pitches his new client to conservative host Tucker Carlson, who travels to Romania and conducts a lengthy interview with Andrew in his mansion.
I mean, I was sympathetic to you already, but a man's accused of human trafficking. It's worth finding out what he's accused of.
The Tucker Carlson interview gets more than 112 million views.
Thank you.
This is a key turning point. Soon, other high-profile conservatives are defending the Tates.
When I see some of these videos and I see conservatives assigning like real meaning to you saying stuff that is just so obviously content for young boys.
Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan stand for the same things that I stand for.
These relationships are mutually
PhDs? Come on, Roger Stone, bro. Roger Stone, man.
beneficial. These conservatives are tapping into Tate's audience to expand their reach and connect with a demographic that is crucial to the president's re-election campaign.
Listening to him with Tucker for an hour and a half, 2 hours, it clicked. Okay, now I see why he's popular.
And by 2024,
but wait. Charlie Kirk was never an Andrew Tate fan, was he? He literally just said, "I understand why he is popular." Hold on, wait a second. I'm actually going to look this up.
Candace Owens just interviewed Andrew Tate. Yep. Our CEO flew to Romania to interview Andrew Tate. His message seems to be suppressed. He just finally got released from home arrest. What do you think is keeping the powers that be afraid of that message that Andrew Tate is bringing out to the world?
Yeah, I mean, look, Andrew is a very smart man, and I'm not going to get into all the accusations against him. I don't know the truth, or we'll find out. But I will say this: what he says is so powerful, and let's emphasize on that. What Andrew Tate is doing is he's communicating a warning of what happens when society becomes too feminine. Now, if I offend you with this, good, because honestly, it's the truth, and you need to hear it. So. By the way, for the ladies in the audience, I would venture a guess you are underwhelmed by the feminization of American men as it's happening around you. I hear it all the time. So a society can become too feminine, it also can become too masculine, okay? So we know what happens when a society becomes too masculine. You get Mussolini, right? You get too dictatorial, too rigid. That's where you quote unquote get the kind of authoritarianism that we warn against. But have we ever thought deeply, what happens when a society archetypically becomes too feminine? That's an interesting question, isn't it? Well, all of a sudden you get the complete disregard for rules, customs, and guardrails because you want to accept all things. You get feelings-based societal governance over rationality-based societal governance. It is the man's job in a marriage and when you raise a child to say no. That is my job as a father. No, 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 no. In a society, when you do not have people saying no, really bad ideas start to metastasize and infect the entire culture. And so, let's just use a great example. It is, in my personal opinion, and I think in the opinion of the natural law, evil and wrong to support the chemical castration of children under the guise of gender-affirming care.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's evil and wrong. A masculine energy would say, we're not putting up with this. It's not going to happen. No, no, no. But a feminine energy would say, but I want to care for them. I want to have compassion for them. I want to have compassion too. You know how you have compassion? Not by chopping off their balls, okay?
True.
Or getting them Lupron.
True.
So look, Andrew Tate, controversial figure, but honestly, is Andrew Tate saying anything that 30 years ago would not have been commonplace to say? We are seeing the American man, porn addicted, lowest testosterone rates in 30 or 40 years, least married, least purpose, most suicidal in history. Why? It's because our society is configured towards collapsing the American man. That's bad for men, it's bad for women, it's bad for our country. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why Andrew Tate has become so unbelievably successful, is he does it in an eloquent and charismatic way with a lot of wisdom. And if you wanted to conquer a country, you would have the men start becoming women and killing themselves.
Okay, so he makes some interesting points here. One thing I don't like about what Charlie Kirk is saying is if you basically summarize what he's saying there, he's essentially saying that America's become too feminine, which is true, but because of how feminine, and he's also saying that Andrew Tate is too masculine, which is also true. Like, I'm reading that between the lines there. That's also true. But what he also says is, A, first of all, that Andrew Tate's wise. He's not wise. And B, that, someone like him with that hypermasculinity is needed to push against the hyperfeminization of America, which is false. I understand the idea or the concept that, if you have someone masculine, that'll push against the bad aspects of the hyperfeminization of American society, which is kind of true. But the problem is pendulums swing back and forth. You have to remember that there was a time when the majority of American culture catered too much towards men and not enough towards women. And if you have someone like Andrew Tate sort of take the reins of the American youth, you're going to see that time come again. I also think that Andrew Tate sort of overestimates the masculinity of the 90s. I think the types of things that Andrew Tate's saying would probably be probably fit or feel more at home in somewhere between the 1950s through the 1970s, not the 1990s and the early 2000s. But anyways, let's get back to the New York Times video.
And by 2024, Barron Trump is also a fan. Barron hosts a dinner at Mar-a-Lago for several prominent conservative influencers. One of them was Justin Waller, who has helped the Tates run their businesses and says that he's widely seen as the third brother. Waller told me that Barron admired the Tates, and
he said that he and Barron called Andrew together and discussed the Tates case.
The people that Barron Trump is a fan of, to be honest, to me is not a big sign that it's not a good sign about where the future of the American right is. Because Barron Trump is a fan of these alt-right people. I don't know if he's a fan of Nick Fuentes, but all the other alt-right people he's a fan of, which is not good. I mean, part of it is just like, yeah, I understand that these people are popular, but that's also bad, right? Like, I don't want to see Andrew Tate being like one of the most popular figures on the right, and people have now moved over to like Myron Gaines and Nick Fuentes, who are even worse, but still, this is just not good.
When we reached out for comment, McBride called our reporting on the relationship between Andrew and Barron fake news.
So the Tates are building up a lot of support here in the United States. And after Trump is reelected, some of those supporters have even more power and influence than they did before.
Paul Ingrassia, who had once served on the Tates legal team, is now the White House liaison to the Justice Department.
He had called Andrew Tate an extraordinary human being and a target of the deep state and the satanic elite. Alina Habba, who had served as a personal lawyer to Trump, was now a counselor to the president. She appeared on a podcast with Andrew in January.
We need strong, powerful voices like yours, and I got your back over here.
And this man, Richard Grenell, a special diplomatic envoy for Trump, discussed the Tates case with at least 2 Romanian officials. Our reporting found that one of those discussions took place last December at Mar-a-Lago with an advisor to the Romanian Prime Minister.
Ponta told us that he had discussed the Tates case with Grenell. He then backpedaled and said they had not discussed the case.
The other discussion was with Romania's foreign minister at a conference in Munich in February.
In a statement to the Times, Grenell said it was the foreign minister who raised the issue of the Tates. His statement did not address the Mar-a-Lago conversation.
The public support from some of these allies set off alarm bells in Romania. Officials at the American embassy in Romania told us that they feared what would happen if their bosses in Washington instructed them to release new passports to the Tates in violation of the Romanian criminal justice system.
Well, to be fair, I don't know if it's to be fair necessarily, but Romania is known for being corrupt. That's actually why the Tates went there. So it's like, oh wow, I can't believe that, the justice system in Romania, which is known for its corruption, is being corrupted and manipulated by outside forces. Oh, who could have foreseen this?
It didn't come to that, but an extraordinary order came down from the highest levels of the Romanian government.
On February 26th,
Andrew sent a text message to someone close to him that we reviewed. He had been made aware that he was going to be released. He wrote, "I have very detailed instructions from the Americans about crossing borders, phones, passports, etc. I can't say more. This goes into instant effect." The next day, the Tates file a request that prosecutors lift their travel bans and return their passports.
Wait, is this recent, or is this about the trip over to Florida?
Who spoke to us on the condition of anonymity, who told us that the prosecutors did not want to do this. But the prime minister believed that lifting the travel bans would appease the Trump administration.
he did not respond to requests for comment.
In the early hours of February 27th, the brothers were driven to a private plane.
No one has ever been more back than we just got.
At the time, we asked McBride, their lawyer, whether the Trump administration had anything to do with their release. And he didn't answer the question directly, but he said, quote, "Do the math. These guys are on the plane." Once they're back in the United States, the Tates are filming themselves partying in Miami, looking at apartments in New York, hobnobbing with Kanye West in Los Angeles. but they weren't welcomed by all. There were some conservatives who spoke out against them upon their arrival. Some said that they undermined traditional conservative values. Other people likened the allegations against them to the crimes of Jeffrey Epstein.
I'm actually relatively impressed with the New York Times here as being so fair to the American right. There are many people on the mainstream right who oppose Andrew Tate. And I'm glad that she actually went and showed examples, right? Ron DeSantis was a very big, prominent one, but also Ben Shapiro and Megyn Kelly.
Through all of this, it's becoming clear that there is a rift on the right. Trump says he knew nothing about it.
I know nothing about that. You're saying he's on a plane right now?
An official with the White House said it is not involved in anything related to the Tate's legal matters.
In March, they returned to Romania for a court date and have not come back. Shortly after they left, one of Andrew's former girlfriends accused him of assaulting her when they reunited during his visit. You know, she said that when they had sex, he had beaten her and choked her to near unconsciousness, which he denies.
It'll be interesting to see how the saga plays out. Now, it was to my knowledge that Andrew Tate was in Romania. It's still the case. Yes, he is in Romania. So it's not a done deal that he is going to be released from a Romanian jail. I think that if the allegations surrounding him are like 100% true and provable in court, which I don't know if they are, but if they are, then it's really unfortunate if they sort of let him slip away just because it's what the Trump administration wants him to do. But again, you know, this is exactly why Tate chose Romania as a place to live in, is because he knew that the justice system there was corrupt. Now, I will say that because there are Americans who are doing very quiet prosecutions of Andrew Tate, I think it's very possible that if Andrew Tate ends up moving to the United States and ends up being released by Romania, that he's brought up on charges in the United States. So just because Andrew Tate may or may not get off scot-free in Romania, it doesn't mean that he's out of the woods as far as prosecution is concerned.